Okay, our beloveds, we are seeing more dead flies falling to the ground for lack of water or food or sustenance to keep them going. This is a time where many are being called to trust. And when you cannot trust, it is because your faith is simply not great enough. So now, would you rather give up because you no longer feel that you are going where you were meant to go? Or would you like to continue on this path? We channeled a few years ago on exactly this topic. We'll have another look for that post. But in essence, you are on a journey. You are on a journey from point A to point B. And when you haven't arrived at point B, you question whether you will actually arrive at that destination. And what we have shared with you is that the greatest challenges in your journey will be at the very end. Because we want to truly only work with those who have unresolved faith. Now, what does unresolved faith mean? Even our another is scrambling her brain right now, trying to figure out what on earth this could mean. So here goes. Unresolved faith means that you have not been guaranteed anything, yet have continued to have an unyielded faith in the unseen. And those that we are calling together as leaders of the tribe right now will need to be the gurus to the extent that they exist in this new energetic paradigm, as well as the leaders, the faith keepers, the flame holders, because so many others will have difficulty holding this faithful stance of my intentions create my reality. So in order for those who we are training up as leaders to hold that vibration, you must be tested more so than the average person in order to really know, believe, trust, and acknowledge publicly how it is difficult to hold this vibration, but after many twists and turns, challenges and crises, that it did ultimately bring you to that point in paradise where you desired to go. But only the worthy can be admitted into these halls, because only the worthy can hold that vibration, that even when everything seems to be going against you, much like Job, that you will continue to trust that this is not a punishment of you, nor a rejection of what you know to be true, but instead a refining or a polishing of who you are within. A soul, spirit, body trifecta who is here to experience the fullness of how the soul connects with the spirit, yet lives within the physical body to be fully human. And you will see soon how only those who can really trust that this is true will rise up to the top like cream does in a milk product. It is your challenge as well as your opportunity to see how far you can stretch yourself, how much you can believe that this is truth, the unseen truth, which holds together the cosmos and your planet in its vibrational point of balance. When you think of helium versus just straightforward oxygen or CO2, you can fill a balloon with a substance which causes its sides to expand, yet the helium causes it to rise or raise, whereas the others allow the balloon to continue to just sit on the floor. So what is it that you believe is within the balloon? If it is rising up, though it is an unseen energy, you know that there's something in there that is different and lighter than the molecules which are in the air surrounding it, thereby allowing it to rise up to the point where the outer pressure and the inner pressure is in balance. So we are right now creating a lot of outer pressure. And if you do not trust that what is within you or your balloon is a helium which will allow you to ascend and go to new heights and see the world from a higher vantage point, then you will continue to sit on the floor and see the world exactly as you saw it before. And we are looking for those leaders now who can trust in the unseen and who can feel that buoyancy within their own energy field, even though their outer world hasn't changed. And what that would mean is that your balloon is filled with helium, but you are still tethered to the ground by many sandbags that keep you from experiencing that you are now beginning to soar. So you question whether or not any of this is real, and we simply encourage you to continually cut those sandbags until you finally cut the last one that allows you to rise off the ground or the surface a bit, and then to continue to cut those sandbags so you will continue to rise up. The energies never lie, but the life contracts and cords that you have with others may limit your opportunities to ascend at the rate that you desire because you have unresolved business or unfinished contracts that you need to work through in order to teach you the last vestiges of that life lesson, in order to allow you to move into the next life lesson where you can continue to go on your inward spiral. We talked about the record, and it is truly that. You get to choose the music that you hear, and until you can step out of that frozen state of fear, you cannot continue to listen to the record on your record player. It takes time. It takes many lessons to repeat the cycle in order for you to fully see the cycle before you can step out of it. But even when you step out of it, You still have cords and contracts with other people who affect your journey as well as your own desires and inputs. And you need to just resolve those lessons before you can fully move on. And that is where many of you are now. You are struggling with moving on. You are struggling with believing that this is really real. But if you step back and reflect on how your life has changed since you decided to move forward in a more spiritual manner, look at all of the evidence that has arisen to show you that you are on a new path, and then simply look at those tie downs as evidence of where you just have not completed your current life lessons, and to explore them with greater curiosity and insight so that you can enjoy the process of completion rather than resenting it or questioning it, whereby you just completely stop where you're at. It is the path of many to stop, we will admit that. The road to ascension is scattered with bodies, much like going up to the Himalayas or to any high mountaintop where there is less oxygen and you can litter the path, showing others that you were unable to meet the pinnacle of that journey. And it is not a failure, it just means that you will have an opportunity in another lifetime. But we encourage those of you who have made a diligent effort to get to this point to simply continue with your point of inspiration, whatever that is, and to let the rest of it go, to complete the cycles that you are in for certain, but if need be, to take a breather, to take an exit ramp, and to go sit at McDonald's and have a cup of coffee and an Egg McMuffin or a hamburger. For those with whom this analogy aligns, go have some bad-for-you fast food so that you can resume a bit of the old life, to have a rest, a respite, only to, after a while, say, okay, this is not as good as I remember it to be. It actually tastes kind of chemically, and I now feel rather nauseous. So I think I will go back onto the highway, because I do think that I prefer the current path that I was on before I did this diversionary detour to take a rest and a respite. It's pretty simple. Find what works, discard what doesn't, and continue to explore where you want to go and how you get there, so long as it is from a love for self and others' perspective and not from a fear-based vibration. That is the one piece that will no longer be supported in this new energy. A fear-based vibration will continue to draw more fear-based experiences to you, and we're really trying to get as many of you as possible into this love-based vibration so that you can be the teachers, the leaders, the guides for those who will come in the coming years. There will be an exodus, and much like Moses, you will be following in the path of somebody else who is guiding you, having to trust that manna will fall from the heavens every morning to feed you, as there will be no other evidence that you are really ever going to arrive at your point of destination. The Israelites had great trust issues, and that is why one full generation had to die off before the next one arrived, because they did not have sufficient trust to get them there. But you can, if you so choose, and the difference here is it's not an all or none. If one of you chooses, then one of you will make it. And so it is. Namaste.